I mean, I'm slightly sort of embarrassed to have our beers standing up against some of the best, like I say, in my mind, some of the best beers in the world. Tony and Dom have been kind enough to give us more or less free range of their hand pumps. So we've got 5 or 6 of our beers on. We've got Hophead, which is our best-selling beer. This is the first, Hophead was the first beer we made I made that was used American hops, New World hops. It was directly inspired by Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, which is in the fridge in the snowdrop. It was a beer I was going to pick if they didn't already stock it. It's a beer. I wanted a beer that was low in low in strength but high in flavour, and those things they didn't really seem to exist when we started making Hophead. Low gravity seemed to equal low flavour, and we wanted to make a beer that had like good malt character, a bit of backbone to it, and a nice subdued bitterness with full-on aroma. So hopefully we've managed to get somewhere close to that. I say we seem to be making a lot of it, so can't be too bad, I guess. Then we've got, that's our best-selling beer, as I say. That's a regular beer. Then we've got American Pale Ale, which is another of our regular beers. You might gather from the name, I suppose, that it was inspired by the American craft brewing tradition. When I say American Pale Ale, kind of sort of, it's Hophead's big brother in that it's a bit stronger, but doesn't taste too strong. I like weak beers that taste strong and strong beers that taste weak, I think. And so American Pale Ale is quite crisp in flavour, just uses the malt in it. It's only got Marisota malt, which is generally regarded as, I suppose, the Rolls Royce of English malted barleys. And then it's brewed using 3 different American hop varieties and an American yeast strain. Especially for this beer festival, it's also been dry hopped with a 4th American hop variety, and this will hopefully give a bit more punch to it, and just a bit of something special and something nice to do for the beer festival. What else have we got? We got a keg saison. That's Saison du Pont was a beer that I love, and we've been making our own version of a saison for the last few years. Just for a bit of fun, we've experimented with putting, most of our beers, almost all our beer goes into cask, so for hand pump dispense. For a bit of fun, we experimented with putting some into kegs, and which gives more effervescence, slightly colder, probably more in keeping with the style, to be honest. And this is one of a handful. It might be available at some point in the future, I don't know, but it's nice to have it at this beer festival, and if it comes anywhere close to Saison du Pont, I'll be a happy man. I thought it'd be kind of rude to have Lewes Oktoberfest without having, if we're going to have our beers on, we might as well have Dark Star Oktoberfest on, which is our take. It's a cask beer take on a German style beer, obviously brewed specifically for the Oktoberfest season. All the malts are imported from Germany. We've got Pilsner malt, Vienna malt, Carahel malt, Cara Munich malt. We've got lots of different interesting malts from Germany. And then, because I'm not that traditional, they've also got, and it's one of my beers, it's got a load of American hop varieties in it as well. Just kind of, it's that Dark Star twist on a beer that someone else invented, I guess. We'll take someone else's style and ruin it. That's our way. So going up a bit, people look at the beer list that I've put together and know that I'm inspired by IPAs. It's a beer style that I just love. So through the course of the year, Dark Star do a few different IPAs. We do like a American style IPA, 6 hop. We do a green hopped IPA, and we also do a slightly more traditional IPA. Not quite as traditional as the White Shield, but we've got 1790 IPA on, it was the first full strength IPA that I'd ever brewed at Dark Star, and it set out to recreate the alcohol content that would have been there in days of yore, or whatever you want to call it. Nice full hop aroma, nice bitterness, and using specifically English malt and English hops. This is my attempt to recreate something from the past with a nod to the present. And then finally, I managed to find in the depths of the cold store. Once a year, we do different beers for Christmas. We do a really strong, fairly strong one at 7.8% called Critical Mass. The interesting thing with strong beers is the older they get, the more complex they get. They develop like wine develops. And this is one that's been maturing for about 14 months, maybe longer. So I think we're going to get some nice vinous flavours, lots of rich sherry-like things going on, some complexity from the malt, restrained hops, which is pretty unusual for Dark Star, I suppose. Hopefully might even be well balanced, which is even more unusual for Dark Star. Strong beer, and again, I suppose what Dark Star tries to do is what I've done with all the beers that I've picked, is we try to challenge people's preconception of what beer is. And when you're doing that, you also need to challenge people's preconception of how they should drink beer. And that doesn't necessarily mean you need to drink it in pints as fast as possible. Different beers suit different occasions, and looking at some of the strengths on these beers, people will say, "Oh, that's really strong." Then they'll go and drink a wine that's like 14% and think nothing of it. So challenge flavour perceptions and challenge how you should drink as well. So don't be afraid to be a big burly bloke having a third of a pint and taking your time over it and savouring it, while seeing like some dainty lady quaffing back a pint faster than you are, because it's more suited to that style. I hope we bring something else to the table.